Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for giving up your time this evening. I'm Ruth, and Amelia is joining us this evening for our training. Hopefully, we will go through all of the things you need to know so you can make the most out of the platform now you're all synced. Amelia is joining so that she can answer any questions or field the questions. So please do ask any questions as we go, as they occur to you. And I will stop at various points to ask, and then Amelia will post them and we will answer those for you. There are no silly questions, because I'm sure if you're thinking it, somebody else is too.
Okay. Absolutely. I've just posted a comment in the chat, so you should be able to see that appearing. So just reply to that, put any questions that come up, and then we'll be able to answer them. Also, please do introduce yourselves as well. It's lovely to know who's here and who's with us this evening too.
Lovely. All good. Right, so I am going to share my screen with you. Hopefully this will be a familiar site to most of you. You're in and you're all synced. And so we've now got this new school tab. That's where I'm going to start today, because it's really important that you know who in your class is there and who in your school, which students are valid. And when they go, I forgot my password, this is where you need to go. So under school classes, you will see all of your current classes. Where it says view, that's because you teach that class and you can just go straight back in to view that class. If it says join, it's one you don't teach. So if you're for an SLT or a head of department, you can just go through and join. And if you want to find a specific class, you can just put it in here. You can then select it and you can then just update the thing. Join it. 1 second, sorry. We'll try that one again. So we go for the science class 11Y and we will join that class and it'll automatically say that we've joined that class. All of the classes that you can see are your active classes. They're the current ones that are being used in your school. Any previous classes are still here. They're all under archive. These are your classes that are archived, and the same as in the schools tab. There is an active list, and then all previous classes that are there are archived. You can't, because your sync is managed, if that makes sense, you can't on this page unarchive. You can only do that with your own independent classes. And then here we've got all our students. These are all of your students in your school who have an account on Seneca. Really important to check emails for those students. Again, you can search for a specific student. You can select those students. You can reset passwords. You can do that there. And don't worry if you're setting lots of them. It can sometimes take a few minutes to set them, but it will remind you and come back afterwards. If you were looking for a particular student and you couldn't find them, I'm not looking for that Smith, I'm looking for an Aria Smith, for example. I might go onto the invalid students and I can see Aria here. She's got no email address. That means you need to speak to your data manager or IT manager and just get them to update Aria's email address on the MIS. And then automatically that will be updated when your sync updates overnight. And then finally, you've got a teacher tab. These will be all of the teachers who have accounts on Seneca, and the same thing applies. You can search for any individual teacher and you can reset passwords, and the same with invalid. The only difference sometimes on the invalid teachers is you might have somebody that is marked as non-teaching staff. And the best way to correct that is to make sure they're marked as teacher on your school's MIS. Or if there's someone like an IT manager and they need an account on the platform or want to see one so that they can manage this tab here, then just drop me an email and I can add them manually to the sync. Are we all okay thus far, Amelia?
We are perfect thus far. No questions so far.
Good. Okay, so I'm just going to log out and I'm going to show you what this looks like now from a student's point of view. Log in as a student. So here, when your students log in, they will automatically have this page here. When they go to their classes, all of their classes that they are signed up for according to your timetable will automatically appear. And they've got this little sync symbol. If they have any other classes, perhaps they're in a booster group or something that you've manually created a class for, that will also appear on their page. They go into one of these, they can then automatically see their assignments. So as well as posting their assignments on Teams or Classroom or on class charts, you can just post, go to Seneca, and their assignments will be there. If they go into a class where there aren't any assignments, they get this one here. And they can also see any assignments that are overdue or passed simply by selecting the different parts on the course. Students can study courses independently by choosing a course, and then they can study that on there. So now we're going to have a look at what it looks like when you go into your class. So we select the class that we're going to look at. You will automatically have students added to your class. There is no need for you to do that, and there should be, all your teachers should automatically be added according to your timetable. The first thing you will need to do, if you haven't done it already, is go to courses. You need to add a course, and here you can just search any courses. You can down here check that you just want all the GCSE courses to make it easier to search. You can also down here look for types of courses, and it might be you're looking for the assessments rather than the standard course. You can tick those to make it quicker to find it. And then that's the course I want to add, and I simply add it to my class. So we're now all set up and we're able to set assignments. Setting assignments, we just go to add an assignment. You're going to set a standard Seneca assignment, and we're going to set one in geography. We choose the topic we want to do. This part down here will tell you roughly how long it's going to take. So this might be one that's a bit too long for one single piece of homework, so I can simply take some sections off, and then I can do it so it's about the right time that I want to set as a homework. Any aspects can be previewed, so you can see exactly what your students are going to be presented with and the types of questions. I then assign this task, and then here it'll come up with our exam questions. These ones with the little green symbol next to them means they're AI marked, so that will be automatically marked. You can preview these questions, and these are free answer questions, and it shows you the mark scheme. It marks against the keywords that are highlighted in green. So we can select all of these questions, or we might think, actually, I would like this one, but I want to swap the other ones about. And we do have questions that are up to 6 marks available on the site. They would be student marked and then teacher overmarked, and then marked against the mark scheme that is up there. So I might go that one, and then I want a different last question, so I can come up with one more. Once I'm happy with the questions I've got, I simply put this in here. I then make sure it's with my class. It is possible to choose individual students if you wanted to. So if you wanted to set this to all of your class, perhaps bar a couple of students because you wanted to set them something they perhaps missed, you can do that by selecting the relevant students here. You choose the date you want this one due in by and the time you want it due in by. And then this was all ready to create. We now get this screen up here where you can automatically post to Google Classroom, to Teams, or email. Again, you can just copy this link and post it into any one of the apps you use for your school's homework. If you forgot to do that when it was up, you can always press the share button and it will come back up with those links for you if you need to repost it after you've created your assignment. So we can now create an assignment which might be across multiple classes. So this might be something particularly in science, at year 7, you might want to set something across the whole year group, and you only want to do that once. So you can do that by selecting the course. This will only work if this course is added to all of those classes. I can choose something, I might just choose the cells. Again, I choose which sections I want to add. And then I can assign that. Again, it will come up with those exam questions. I can preview them with the mark scheme. I can even try typing in, so it checks it. And it'll tell you how it marks it, so you can see it being marked. I select the questions I want. And then here, when I have this, and this is Key Stage 3, I can select all of the classes that have this Science Key Stage 3 or all of the Year 7 classes. So I've set it across multiple classes. And then I simply create it. And again, you can copy these links into the different classes or into their Google Classroom or Teams links straight away. So hopefully that makes sense for setting assignments. Any questions on setting assignments, or are we all good so far?
We have got one question, which is, how are the exam questions different from the main topic sections?
Okay, so the exam questions are free answer. So let me show you as a student. So if I go into tectonics homework we set up just a moment ago. So we have, this is a standard part of assignment where they have some information and then they would be answering some questions and they would work through that. When they come to the exam questions, they look a bit different. So here there's no content for them to refer to, and it is free answer. I type in a whole sentence. These ones are then marked by the AI according to the mark scheme, and students are given feedback straight away. So these are different to the main assignments because they are free answer and they're predictive questions. They're questions that are not in any past paper, and they're ones that might come up on an exam. And we have those for Key Stage 3, which are more assessment type questions, as well as for the GCSE courses.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Ruth. I think that's all the questions for now, but please do continue to put them in the chat, guys, if anything comes up. Okay,
so we'll go back to being a teacher. We'll go back to our class here. So once we've done, students have had a look at the assignment, we want to know how those students have done. So if I go to my assignments and I have a look at, say, my geography tectonic plates, I can have a look at the topics these students have done. So this student isn't quite as strong as some of my others. And I can also see those exam questions. And as you saw, those were free answer questions. You can see exactly what students have written. You can also overmark the AI if you think their answer was correct. This will also help to train the AI to be more accurate in the future. And then once you've got an assignment and you think, actually, there was quite a lot of coverage here where students haven't fully completed it, you can do what's called smart reassign. So we could reassign that same assignment, so rather to anybody who didn't complete those sections. And I just reassign this. And rather than give them the whole assignment again, it will simply give them the assignment and they will have to correct the sections that complete the sections they didn't do. Again, on that smart reassign, we can smart reassign it to perhaps those that scored less than half marks, or if we're looking for everyone to have got most of the content correct, we can assign anything that they got less than 80%. At present, we cannot reassign the AI marked exam questions. It's just the normal content sections that we can reassign to students. So if we come back here, so we've had a look at setting assignments, at reassigning things. We've set assignments to multiple classes. We now want to have a deeper look at what those students have been doing. So here on my Insights tab for this class, I can select the course we've been looking at, which is our geography course. I can have a look at what all of these students have done, how much time they've spent learning, and what their average score is, or I could choose specific dates. This gives us an oversight of the whole of the geography AQA. But if I want to look at a specific topic, I just come in here, I select the sections I need to look at, and it's the tectonic ones we were thinking about. And then it'll give us an overview of exactly what has been covered by which students and how well they've done. All of this data is exportable via the Excel spreadsheet. You can't at present have that overview over multiple courses in this part here. So that's where it might be useful to run a report for your particular class. So here under reports, you can choose the class you've been looking at. You can choose the time period. I want to know when the last month, how they've been doing, and I can generate a report. That report wears for a little while. It's got to produce quite a lot of data. And then it'll produce you something that looks a bit like this. So this is the overview for this class, and it'll give you across all of the subjects that they've been doing. And it'll give you the total amount of learning time. What is quite helpful is that because we're linked to your MIS, you can track your pupil premium students, your EAL or your SEN students here. And this column is quite useful because this shows you which students have gone in and done things independently rather than just completed assigned tasks. And you can therefore reward students for independent study, which I know a lot of schools are beginning to move towards. And once you've looked at the total time, you can then look at individual subjects for our target groups. And the same works on my students. I can see how many assignments they've completed, whether they were on time, how many hours they've studied. And again, that independent time is there. And this is a spreadsheet, and so can be sorted by specific criteria if necessary. And then for those heads of department or SLT, you can have a look at what the teachers have been setting and to what classes they have set things to. I'm going to pause there temporarily for any other questions.
Nothing at this point, I think.
Okay, so here we're going to go back into our class. We've looked at our overview. We've added courses. We've looked at setting assignments. We have looked at the marking of those assignments and looked at how they've done in our insights. This tab here, which is our students tab, this is where, as an individual teacher, you can invite parents. That will invite parents according to your school's MIS for contact one. It'll send them an email and say, do they want to connect to their child? So we can invite parents here. What that looks like from a parent point of view might be quite interesting. So I'm just going to become a parent. And here, so this is what a parent will see. They will see the assignments. They obviously won't be premium assignments. They will be assignments when things. So this child's got a lot of overdue assignments, what they've been doing recently and how well they did. And then down here, it'll show them all of the courses they are studying on Seneca and how they've been doing, as well as their study over time. So it might be quite helpful or a useful thing for parents to be able to connect and see how their students are doing on Seneca. I'm just going to become a teacher again. So, and here on the first page when we come in, this invite parents, if you're an SLT member, this will automatically come back. This will invite all of the parents in your school in just 3 clicks. So you just need to make sure that you do want to send that to everybody, for that one comes through there. Any further questions?
I don't think so. I think we're all clear for questions.
All clear. So I think if I was just giving any tips, it would be to set regular assignments, because that's good for the students to get used to regular homework. It also helps with your data and looking at reports. And then make sure when you're reviewing work on assignments, you go back in, have a look on your assignment, see what's been going on. And if necessary, we can do that reassign like we did with the tectonics to those students to see how they've been doing. So do use the smart reassign, and also that setting across multiple classes might be useful when you've got whole year groups out, or you need to set homework that's the same across all a whole year group. Might be particularly useful if you're setting standardized assessments, because then it can be done in a few clicks.
Absolutely. And we'll stay on for a few more minutes if anyone does have any more questions. So please do feel free to pop them in the chat. But I'm also just going to quickly put Ruth's email on the screen. So if anyone has any questions that come up over time, needs some support with setting homework, or if a student isn't appearing in your class or anything like that, please do feel free to email Ruth or myself. I'm just Amelia@Seneca.io. Ruth is Ruth@Seneca.io. So quite easy to remember, hopefully. And yeah, we'd love to support in any way we can.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you found that helpful, and do please share the link with your colleagues so that they can also make the most of the platform.
Absolutely. The same link that you're on right now to watch it on YouTube, that can be shared with anyone that you want. It will be available after this broadcast has ended, so anyone who also needs a top up can just access that link at any time and watch this back. We'll wait a few more minutes for questions, but if you don't have a question, please do feel free to go on with your Wednesday evening. And thank you for spending a bit of it with us.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I think we are all clear for questions. So should we say good night?
Yeah, good night. Have a nice evening. Nice to hear you. Bye.
Bye.